This is the Transformers or Transformers Missing Link C-05 Sunstreaker. Oh my goodness, I never had a G1 Sunstreaker, like ever. When I was a kid, I wanted one. I could never get it because my grades weren't high enough that my parents wouldn't want to buy it. And we couldn't find it. We didn't have Toys R Us, we didn't have Toy Kingdom, we didn't have any toy stores back in the 80s here in Manila. We had couple of general stores selling some imports from Hong Kong, Japan, and some in the US. So anyway, now that this thing came out, I was very excited. There was a white version for this one, the police version, but I didn't really care about that. I just needed my G1 Sunstreaker, and this one is the fully articulated version. Oh my goodness, he looks great. I picked up this one in Tokyo at a hobby shop in Ueno called Yamashiroya for about 13,200 yen. Man, it's a lot. That is about, oh man, close to $100. Like, don't even add, but $90. But I didn't care. I mean, this was so cool. They had a tax-free, so less 10%. Discount. Very, very cool. Let's get this bad boy out of packaging. And here is Sunstreaker out of the packaging. And come on, man. Back in the 80s, these were the Transformers. These were how they looked like, man. I mean, they don't look much right now. I mean, if you didn't grow up with these toys, you know, you're thinking, man, why would anyone want such an ugly Transformers? But come on, in the 80s, these were the ones that kick-started a phenomenon, a global phenomenon, a pop icon, and man, I never had a Sunstreaker. So you can imagine how thrilled I am to actually have one, and he's fully articulated. Back in the day, you couldn't move them. You could only transform them, and you could pretend that they were moving just like in the cartoon. But now, because of the missing link, our old childhood toys can actually come to life. That's what's great about the missing link line, because when you were a kid, it was great transforming these things. You could play, but I got tired of them because I couldn't get them to look how they look like on the show. And that was a main criteria for toys when you were a kid. It had to look like the one it looked, how it looked like on the show. And if it didn't, you know, then the toy wasn't worth getting or something like that. But man, I didn't realize how cool this thing is until I actually had it in hand. And it is an amazing, amazing figure. I cannot wait to show it off. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Transformers Generation 1 Missing Link Sunstreaker. So here's everything that came in the set. You've got the figure itself. You've got some rockets, which I'll talk about later. I don't plan on taking them out, but I'll discuss that. He's got his new weapon. He's got some extra fists. He's got a pilot or a driver. He's got a collector card made of the flimsiest material. Come on, Takara Tomy. Gotta give us something better. He's got an instruction manual. It's a little complex if you're not used to the old G1, and it's all Japanese. But you can figure it out as you go along. Yeah, pretty well thought out. They really detail so that you don't make a mistake. Okay, very cool. He comes with a decal or sticker sheet, which you can apply if you wanted to. But the thing with this new figure now is he's got some paint apps that I'm actually okay without putting any of the old stickers. But if you want it to be more G1 looking, sure, you could do that. I'm not putting the stickers on. And man, if you grew up in the 80s, you know what this is all about. The catalog, the literature catalog that came with every Transformers figure, and it showcased a bunch of the upcoming toys that you would just nag your parents to buy. In this case, they've got a list of the other missing link figures that they've re-engineered to give them articulation, and the recolor. You've got Cordon, which I haven't picked up. Don't know if I will. It wasn't really a G1 character in the cartoon, so probably won't. If I find it at a good price in Tokyo, I might, but no plans right now. And finally, he has this. This is a strip of like cello plastic. It's thicker now because back in the day, it was about this thin. Very flimsy, very thin. This one feels like a thin credit card, and you could slice something with this one, but it's a little thicker now. I am shocked. And what it is a decoder. It's a decoder strip for the back of the box. Back in the 80s, you would have the artwork, the legit artwork right there, which this one is. It's not covered, and to differentiate the missing link, they actually moved the tech specs up, and then they put all the necessary written work and fine print down here. But originally the tech spec was down here, so you wouldn't cover the artwork. And what you would do is it shows like strength, speed, intelligence, durability, and all that. And it's done in this red encrypted. This was old school encryption of the specs, and you would get the red decoder and you would see the graph. And it was cool. Growing up as a kid in the 80s, this was so cool. It might not be much right now, but if you grew up in the 80s, you know what this is all about. And it was so cool. And, you know, you could still see it even without this, but just having a decoder, I mean, when you were a kid, it was so cool. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 12.5 centimeters tall, or about 4.75 inches tall. For some comparisons, here he is with a couple of previously released Missing Link G1 Transformers. We've got obviously the C-01 Optimus Prime. I still love this figure, man. And then we've got Bumblebee. And yeah, this is how it was in the 80s. These were your Transformers. Now, they've done several things differently. One thing that you'll notice is he's got a pilot or a driver. He's some articulation, 5 points of articulation. He's got some metal bits. I think those are metal bits. Yeah, they seem to be like metal bits underneath his feet to weigh them down, and you could probably stick them on a magnet or something like that. I think the old G1 toy never had this. This is made of die cast, his body, plastic limbs. This was a pilot because, you know, Takara Tomy designed their toys to just not have any mythology. It was just a toy with a driver, and you know, they sold it as that. It's a transforming car into a robot and it has a driver. That's it. There was no mythology. In Hasbro, they collected all these toys from different lines and they combined them and gave them a mythology, gave them a story, a backstory, and the rest is history. Okay, let's talk about this. These are missiles or rockets that you would plug on his hand. We'll talk about that later. Let me just talk about this gun. This is a very G1 accurate blaster rifle, which the original did not have. And back in the day, there's a lot of chrome. Weapons were chromed out, and this is no exception. And I think Takara Tomy decided to do it, even if this was not part of the original toy. They decided to chrome it out, and I love it. It looks so G1. Glad they gave him a blaster. Now, you're probably wondering, why does he have extra hands? The original toy didn't have articulated hands, okay? You would transform it. Let me just get rid of this. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, let me just get rid of that. The original toy didn't have hands. The hands were separate, much like Optimus Prime. Once you transform him into robot mode, he'd had these spring-loaded forearms. You'd press it, and this button, this now is a faux or a fake button. There's nothing, it doesn't press, then it's just sculpted in. You would press that and it would launch, I think it would launch the hands or it would launch the rockets. You would plug in a rocket there and that was his weapon. He didn't have, or you would take one of these and you would plug it there. It was so stupid, I know. He didn't have a gun. So if you wanted to recreate that old G1 look, you could give him his boxer fists. Like he's like punching fists, like I mean, this was the old toy. It looked exactly like this. Okay? And one thing they also changed is obviously the articulation. The old toy, you couldn't do much with it. It was a brick. It just stood up there, and the only articulation were the elbows. They would move 90 degrees. That was it. That was the only articulation you could do. And to play with him, you would do like this. Hello, Optimus Prime. Megatron is attacking. Do you want to send me and Sideswipe? Yes, do some recon. Okay, Optimus, okay. And then he would just do that. That was all the articulation. It was very frustrating back in the day. And one of the reasons I decided to quit on Transformers, the G1, and then Beast Wars came and I got back into it. So what they did differently here is they gave him articulation, starting with the head. Look at this. Now the head has, like, is this a ball joint? No, it's a hinge. It's a hinge that allows you to move up and down and rotate left and right. Not 360 because the spoiler is blocking the way. No waist articulation though, that would be the tall order. The arms now can move. He's got, look at this, in and out motion, hinge joints for the shoulders. He's got swivels for the shoulders to move the arms forward and backward 360. He's got a bicep swivel. They kept that elbow joint and the wrist articulation, obviously. Now, the hands that could grip a weapon, they have articulated fingers. Come on, man. They didn't have to do that, but I am glad they did. Wow. So now you can actually get him in some decent poses. You can actually like, Optimus, I'm coming. Megatron, Soundwave, stop Soundwave. He's gonna do that. So you could now move his arms about. And these were not initially included because they weren't part of the transformation. But look at that. Now the legs, I said they were bricks. They couldn't do anything. Now they can. They can do the splits now. They can kick forward and backward. Look at that joint, that offset joint. He's got a thigh swivel now. He's got a hinge knees. Oh man, come on. Double hinge knees for that matter. Unbelievable. And get this, he's got rocker tilts. And the legs would really move up and down because of transformation, but they added ratchet joints. Come on, man. Even the heel spurs have articulation so that when you're doing a straddle stance, you can move the heel spurs so that he doesn't tip over. Unbelievable, Takara Tomy. Come on, man. This is what gets me excited about this line because you guys don't understand. If you never lived in the 80s as a kid, you would not understand how difficult it was to get your figures to pose like this, to make them do what they did on the show. It was kind of like false advertising because they were so flexible. They're so articulated in the cartoon, but the toys didn't do much. They just transformed. So it was very frustrating, but now you can relive all those moments playing with the toy. And for me, I never had Sunstreaker. I'm getting him now fully articulated. Also, back in the day, these G1 toys had die-cast parts. So for this figure, the hips right here are die-cast metal pieces. The shoulders are die-cast. The feet are die-cast. And I believe, nope. No, not the body. The body's not die-cast. Everything's clear plastic and all that. Yep, that's about it. So die-cast made it very heavy. Not very heavy, but substantially heavy. So that he'd have some weight. You could pose him. Some of the joints were made in die-cast so they wouldn't break. Those were prone to breaking. So unbelievable. Very, very cool. And lots of chrome bits. See, look at this. They've even put some detail on that scoop. They didn't have to do that. The old toy never had that. It had stickers and all that, but they painted it. So really, really cool. This is sort of like masterpiece level for G1 Transformers. And again, I said I didn't have to put the stickers because you've got painted on, tampoed Autobot faction symbols. The headlights, the shoulders are painted. There's so much paint on him, you don't really need the stickers. And he's got this. If you grew up in the 80s, you know what this is all about. These are the rub signs, the rub symbols. You would rub it, and it would reveal the faction symbol. Obviously, he's an Autobot, it would be an Autobot, but back in the day, it was sort of like a decoder thing. They were robots in disguise, you wanted to know if they were Autobots or Decepticons, you would just rub it, and out would pop a faction symbol. The heat would illuminate. This was not working apparently. I don't know why. You can see right there the blue Autobot logo. So let's transform him into his Lamborghini Diablo alt mode, okay? You can remove these or you can keep them there. Mainly aesthetic, so. Okay, and then the arms or the fists, fold them back, conceal them. This should be the staple for all Transformers. If you want to conceal the fists, it should be like that instead of having those gaps and all that. Okay, and then you want to do, what should we do first? Let's do the legs. Go ahead and rotate this arms, and then you're going to tab them onto the heel spurs. That there's like a tab right there that will peg onto a hole right there, and then you can work. Okay, here we go. First one. Okay, it's kind of stuck. Wait. Okay, man, that was very tight. Okay, I think there's a bit of plastic molded that's is like a plastic burr that's not been shaved off properly inside. So anyway, go ahead and do that. Just be careful, be gentle, just be patient. It's going to slide in. Okay, and here's probably the trickiest bit of the transformation, the head and torso assembly. So what you want to do is you want to open up that chest, the windshield and roof. Go ahead and fold down that head. You want to go ahead and push out the cockpit or the driver's seat, and then you want to unpeg that back part, slide everything over, and then bend everything back and slot it down. So I don't know if that's clear enough for you guys, but that's the easiest way I know to do it. So go ahead and fold the cockpit down. Go ahead and you can probably at this point in time slot in the driver, because the instructions tell you can put the driver in. You gotta slot his legs through and then his butt. Okay, like that. And then you can close it. And there you go. Okay, looks good. Everything looks good. Onto the arms. The arms are kind of interesting because they fold alternately. So this one, I guess he folds here, down at the bottom. And then this one, he is going to fold upstairs right there. And then you just close up the bottom, lining up everything. And there you go. There is Sunstreaker in his Lamborghini Diablo alt mode with rubber tires that are riveted in. He rolls very quietly, very, very smoothly. You can obviously put this thing in, this thing back right there. Give it more detail. Unfortunately, he cannot plug the weapon or the missiles anywhere, so they're separate. That was a staple for most of the G1 toys. When you transform them into car mode, you need a baggie for all the other extra parts. So yeah, very, very cool. He rolls fantastic. Okay, and then let's do some comparisons. Hound's always been my go-to, but in this case, let's look at my G1 Hound. It's obviously the reissue knockoff. So yeah, good enough scale together. And of course, let's bring in the big guy, Optimus Prime. So in car mode, in alt mode, I think they scale beautifully. Most of the time you display your Transformers in car mode or alt mode because they look great. They look better in their alt mode. The robot modes were just weird. So yeah, there you go. Very nice. And because he comes packaged in car mode, we got to show off the transformation from alt mode to robot mode. We're gonna leave these pegs here so it doesn't really matter. So go ahead and reverse the transformation, fold these out. Go ahead and do the arms first. Do that, fold that back. Straighten out the arms. That, okay. And then here, you got to stick your fingernails somehow here and just, they're nail breakers. You gotta flick that out. Go ahead and remove the driver, the pilot. Okay, flick the cockpit out. And then this piece right here is gonna fold back and fold back here. Okay, and bend and slot in. Oh, before you do that, you gotta slot the cockpit down. Go ahead and tab the chest back in. Open up the head. Close this back up. Okay, go ahead and reveal and fold out the fists. Okay, same here. And do that. Okay. Okay, and I hope the legs will be more cooperative. So go ahead and just unpeg the legs. Hope they slide out this time with ease. Come on. Apparently not. Something wrong with my copy. Okay, this one will slide out easily. Go ahead and unpeg the foot ratchet it, and then just like that. Fix the heel spur. Do the same here. Come on, man. Don't break right now. Okay, let me just see if I can. Okay, there we go. Just really tight. And then go ahead and unpeg and rotate. Okay. There you go. All that's left is to reattach his gun and then get him into a striking pose. Go ahead and open his fist right there. Get him in a very nice pose. Since he does not have a waist swivel, you got to be more creative with the way you pose him. Make it look like he's got a waist swivel. That. And there you go. And so some final thoughts on this missing link Sunstreaker. I am absolutely impressed with this one. It is such a treat to have finally a G1 Sunstreaker, but that's fully articulated and yet retains all the G1 nostalgia. They tried to make it as cartoon accurate as possible with the colors, the chromed out weapons, all the chrome bits, the articulation. They even gave him a pilot. And on top of that, they kept all the G1 aesthetics there, giving him even his old fists that make him look like the G1 toy, the rockets. I mean, what more can you ask? It's the old G1 toy with screen accurate, cartoon accurate weapons and articulation. The figure easily gets a 10 out of 10. I don't expect everybody to appreciate this. This is really for the hardcore collectors who've started Transformers growing up as a kid in the 80s and have come full circle with their old toys. The old toys being birthed into a new life with these new articulation, just really how toys should have been done in the 80s. I mean, if the old G1 toys were like this, I wouldn't have stopped collecting Transformers altogether when I was a kid. Would have kept all my toys, maybe bamboozled my dad into getting me like doubles of everything. I told him he's gonna be rich someday because these are just great. And I am just so excited to see where this missing link line goes, because we still have a lot of figures that we need to get this missing link treatment. I want a Soundwave, I want Hound, Jazz, I mean, maybe even Megatron and Starscream. Come on, Takara Tomy, let's get this thing done. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this G1 Transformers missing link Sunstreaker by Takara Tomy. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel and please subscribe. Thanks for watching.
ダイヤクロンレスキュー隊員。彼らの乗る車はロボットに代わり救助に活躍する。メカが光るダイヤクロンカーロボット。